This program proudly brought to you by Southern Cross Pitch and Putt and Henry's Family Restaurant. A new year and a new beginning for the Canberra Cannons, beating the Bullets at the AIS Arena. Tonight the Crocodiles are in town and the Cannons are looking to make it 2 losses in a row for Townsville.
4 on the shot clock now for Townsville. Pat Reedy has a tough shot and he buries it.
The long bombs are landing here on Cannons Courtside.
Good morning and welcome to Cannons Courtside. Great to have you with us. Again, we're coming to you at an earlier time slot today, the 11:30 slot, of course, caused by our tennis commitments this afternoon, but we will have a little bit of that during the summer. Apologies for that, but keep your eye on the local guides and you'll find out the times. Our guest this morning is Andrew Clark from the Canberra Cannons. Clarkie, great to have you with us.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Phil. It's great to be here.
I wanted to speak to you this morning because just watching you over the last couple of weeks, just starting to get a little bit more court time after having sat during the first half of the season.
Yeah, well, it's probably come along with my confidence. My confidence is kind of starting to creep up a little bit, and I'm just starting to play a little bit of better basketball.
And I guess the big thing is that the coach is getting more confidence in you as well.
No, that's right. Well, Cal, in practice, has given me the green light to shoot the basketball, and I've been working extra hard on my shooting and getting that extra confidence, and yeah, I'm really confident when I walk out on the floor.
I guess the big thing is defining a role for you. Cal's got to find out your role, and you've got to provide your role to Cal.
That's right.
Coming off the bench is tough for you, isn't it? Because he puts you in there and says, Clarkie, go out and shoot the 3. Yep. And it's got to go down.
That's exactly right. I mean, that's where I feel a little pressure. I've got to come out and, I've got to kind of make my first few shots. That's how I feel. But Cal's always going to give me that second chance to come out and, prove myself again. But no, you're right. When I go out on the basketball court, I've got to really make an impact straight away.
Now, you did that last week. Came out and hit a few.
Yeah, no, it was good. I mean, the first couple didn't go down, but as I said, Cal had the belief in me and stuck with me through the second quarter. That Brisbane actually put on a zone, which is kind of good for me. I get myself open a little bit, and I managed to hit a couple shots that, kind of got us that lead out to about 12.
Big difference is when you're shooting the ball well, the Cannons are going well, aren't they? If you look at the last couple of weeks against Wollongong, you really started to fire, and unlucky to lose that game in overtime. And then, of course, last week you came out against Brisbane, and it's a game the Cannons won.
Yeah, well, that's right. I mean, I think a lot of the guys are really starting to pick up their games now. I mean, particularly with Jason Wells and Nate Green, and as well as myself, we're starting to pick up from the guard spots and really, lay that foundation.
Let's take a look at some of the highlights of that game now, because it was a game that the Cannons went very well for 3 quarters, and then it came apart late in the game. But we pick a play here up at the beginning of the second quarter. Jason Wells, what a first half he had.
Oh, he was unbelievable. We probably could have given the ball to him a little bit more, but he really had a sensational game.
And you came in and made very, very good use of your minutes. Of course, you're not just a 3-point shooter, are you? I mean, you can shoot the 3, and that is your strength.
Yep.
But you've got to go out there and play defence and run the floor as well.
Well, that's right. I've been trying to really work on my defence this year, and Cal's had me matching up on some of the better players in the league, particularly this game in Randy Rutherford and Leroy Loggins. So, yeah, defence is really something that I've worked very hard on.
Just noticed in this game too that, the minutes are going to different players now than they were at the start of the season. People like David Simmons and Willie Simmons are very much role players now, and yourself coming in, you played 21 minutes and 11 points.
Yeah. With our team, with Cal rotating all 10 players, there's the opportunity for, if a player is playing well, that Cal's going to give them those extra minutes. That's how it's been happening all season. Unfortunately for myself, I haven't had a great start to the season, but now that I'm starting to play well and shoot the ball confidently, my minutes are starting to rise.
Now, in this game, this third quarter was a fantastic quarter for the Cannons. I think you kept them to 7 points, built up a 24-point lead by 3-quarter time, but the final quarter was something different, wasn't it?
Completely different story. Third quarter was easily our best quarter of the season. I think we kept them to a NBL record 7 points in the third quarter. But then the fourth quarter, kind of the wheels fall off. It's one of those things when you get a lead like we did, we kind of went to sleep a little bit, and Brisbane they're a very good opposition, and they're able to come back at us.
Well, you guys were firing along very, very nicely here, shifting the ball well. That was a great little piece of play there, where you moved the ball so well between, and you did that so many times too. It just looks like things are really starting to come together now. Yeah,
it's something that's taken time. I mean, we're 13 games into the season, and these things are starting to happen now. We're getting used to each other, and particularly with our point guard Nate Green and our other import Jason Wells, everyone's starting to really gel now.
Well, Brisbane gelled towards the end. You guys sort of running away here at the end of the third quarter, but as we mentioned, that fourth quarter fade out. Just tell me about the sort of feeling in the team at three-quarter time. Were you sort of feeling maybe you're in unknown territories? I mentioned to Jason Wells at the end of the game.
Yeah, maybe. I think we kind of looked up the scoreboard and we're up 24 points, and we really wanted to beat this team by 40. I mean, after last week's performance against Victoria, we really felt that we owed somebody something, and I think we kind of put a little bit too much pressure on ourselves, and yeah, as I said, just one of those things, we kind of fell asleep, and Brisbane, they're a great opposition, and they were able to get back into the game. Full credit to them.
Well, it was Randy Rutherford and Leroy Loggins that brought them back. Leroy, I knew he was going to do something in the end here. They'd kept him pretty quiet. As you see here, they got back within 8 points with 5 minutes to go, and then it just kept on going. Leroy again, and Randy Rutherford had a huge final quarter.
They're both unbelievable players. I mean, Leroy's obviously probably one of the best, probably if not the best player of all time in the NBL.
This shot here, I think this says something about the Cannons, the fact that you're able to work it for a last shot right there. Jason Wells hitting it. This final play was a little bit of a worry, where Nate Green had to block that shot on the board at the end. That could have easily been called a foul, and you could have been in all sorts of trouble, but got out of it in the end.
That's right. I must admit, on that play, I kind of turned around to the referee and had it checked if he'd blown his whistle or not, and once I saw he hadn't, we're pretty ecstatic that we won the game.
Yeah. Now, I guess it would have been mixed feelings at the end of the game after having won the game, sort of feeling of euphoria, but looking back and saying, oh, gee, we could have easily lost that.
Yeah, it was kind of one of those wins that felt like a loss. I remember walking in the change room, the guys weren't, it wasn't usual where you win a game, you give me high fives, and it's, it's joy, and it just wasn't like that at all.
More relief than anything else.
It was more relief. I mean, we're very disappointed because, as I said, we really wanted to go out and beat this team by 40. And as what happened last week against Victoria for us, we felt we owed somebody something. So, yeah.
Okay, we're going to come back in a short while and look at the Townsville game. That's tonight, because that's another big test for you. But before we do that, we're going to take a look at something that happened last week on the court, the Mitsubishi competition. Now, a player from the crowd will come out and shoot the ball. This happens all around the country, and a chance to win a car. Let's take a look at what happened in the game last week that the Cannons played the Bullets. Lining it up and taking a look at the basket, and so close. Now, if that had gone in, that young man would have walked away with a Mitsubishi.
Southern Cross Pitch and Putt are running a new competition for viewers at Cannons Courtside. You and your friends or family could win a pitch and putt game against the Canberra Cannons. There'll be 2 winners drawn each week, with a game teeing off at the end of the month. To enter, simply send a self-addressed envelope to Cannons Pitch and Putt, PO Box 53, Woden, ACT 2606. Blades Menswear are proud sponsors of the Canberra Cannons. Blades Menswear, for the world's finest clothes.
Welcome back to Cannons Courtside. Well, tonight the Cannons go in against the Townsville Crocodiles at the Palace. And Andrew Clark, I mentioned that's going to be a tough one. They are a very, very tough team, but they are 3-3 on the road, so they do give you a chance, don't they? No,
they do, definitely. They're a great team. They've had a little slow start to the season. I think they're still getting used to their new import, Duane Wiley, and the rest of the team trying to gel together, similar to what we've been doing over the last few weeks.
They're one of the teams, though, that are likely to win it, aren't they? There are probably about 4 teams up the top that you think can win it, and Townsville one of them. Yeah, no, definitely. They're in that top echelon of teams, and they're a team that we really want to knock off and really kind of shut up the critics. Yeah, the thing that makes them so tough is they're tough right through the roster, aren't they? They've got players all over the place who can win games. Now, last week they came up against Wollongong at the Swamp in Townsville and lost. Now, that gives you some sort of a chance because you guys played Wollongong a couple of weeks ago and were so unlucky to lose in overtime, so you know you're right there with Townsville. That's right. We know we're right there for these teams now. It's just a matter of being able to finish that last quarter off and, you know, just come out with the victory. Let's take a look at some of the players that might cause you a little bit of trouble out there at the Palace tonight, and they've got plenty of them. We've got a little montage here. Now, this is the game against Wollongong last week, but we're looking at the Townsville players at the moment. Well, there's one of them, Sam McKinnon, for a start. Unbelievable player. He's he can get a triple-double any night of the week. He is a great player. He's probably one of the better Australians in the league. And there's a guy that we replaced on the Australian team, Pat Reedy, and he's still getting it done too. Pat's playing just as well as ever. Oh, he is. I mean, as you're saying, they've got players all over the court, and he's a veteran player and always tough. Andy Goodwin plays in the middle, but now they've got Duane Wiley to play there as well. So they've got some toughness inside, and Andy Goodwin is tough to handle because he has got the mobility to take the ball outside and can shoot from range as well. Yeah, he's a little unorthodox sort of play. He's inside-outside 5-man, and he can, pretty much do anything, but he is inconsistent, so we're hoping for him to have one of those inconsistent games. The big thing is that they do play well inside and out, as we see Mike Kelly knocking them down from the outside here. He is the sort of player, if you don't get in his face, he will just knock, he's almost automatic from out there. I like Mike Kelly a lot. I think he's one of the best shooters in the league by far. He's someone we really have to shut down and not let him get going, because he's capable of coming out and hitting 6, 7 or 8 threes in a game, and you know, when he gets hot, he stays hot. Very tough team to beat in Townsville. As I mentioned, they're 3-3 on the road and can be vulnerable, but their indications over the last 2 seasons or so is that this is a very good team, and they've been able to keep pretty much all of the team together. I mean, they brought in Duane Wiley this year, but they show the fact they've been playing together for a couple of years. That is a real strength of theirs, isn't it? Yeah, no, definitely. They're missing obviously Ben Knight from last season, but Wiley replaces him, and I think, as I said, they're still trying to get used to Wiley and his role within the team. I think once they get settled, they're going to really make a move towards the playoffs. Well, the shots you're seeing here in this particular clip are a lot of shots from outside the arc. That's a big thing that you've got to really defend tonight, isn't it? You've got to really get to those outside shooters. No, that's right. Sam McKinnon, Mike Kelly, Rob Rose, Pat Reedy, even Andrew Goodwin, all over the floor, they can shoot the basketball. And Brad Davidson coming off the bench, we've got to watch him as well. We saw Rob Rose there at the end, and that is one of his strengths, isn't it? Rob, when he played with the Cannons, you probably noticed he was one of those players who sometimes does enough to win games. He didn't do quite enough there. Well, he did plenty himself, and he had, 35 points against Wollongong, but he really wanted the ball at the end of the game, and that is the sign of a great player. That's what Rob Rose is renowned for. He's the sort of player that'll go through the first 3 quarters with maybe 6, 8 points, but come that last quarter, he wants the ball, and all of a sudden he'll have 24 points and win the game. What about the Cannons this week? Geordie Cullen has been out of action for a little while. Yeah, he's been out of action. He trained with us yesterday. He's slowly getting back on his feet. David Patrick, how's he coming along? David, he's still probably in another few weeks off. It's probably about 3 weeks away. But we're lucky enough to have Paul Vandenberg stepping in and doing a great job for him. Yeah, he's getting better every week, isn't he? He came in last week against Brisbane and played good minutes, and well, the team didn't lose anything for the time he was on the court. Yeah, Paul did a great job, I thought. He really gave us that spark off the bench, and he's replaced DP very admirably. Okay, what about the matchups tonight? How's that going to go? As we're a funny sort of team, we've got 10 players that play a lot. Jason Wells will most probably match up with Sam McKinnon. Nate Green will take Rob Rose. They're the 2 main matchups we're looking at. If we can win those
two departments, we think we're going to be in good stead to win the game.
The X factor, I reckon, is Pat Reedy. Who's going to take him?
I think
Troy
Pillen's going to start out on Pat, and Truggy's a great defensive player, so we expect him to do a really good job. I know he has in the past, so yeah.
That's a great matchup, isn't it, those two, because they're similar in a lot of ways. I mean, Pat shoots the ball well from the medium range jumper, probably as well as anybody in the league.
Yep.
But strength-wise, Troy can really match him.
No, definitely. We're looking for the other end of the basketball court where Troy can maybe take advantage of Pat Reedy probably being a touch slow and get to the basket and get out on the open court and get some layups for us.
Mm-hmm. Good luck out there tonight.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming in, and we want to see a lot more of you on the court too.
No, definitely. I like the sound of that myself.
Okay, Andrew Clark joining us today, but we've got another guest right after the break. We're going to talk to the Capitals coach, Carrie Graff.
Want to see the Cannons' next home game for free and get a free meal from Henry's Family Restaurant? You can simply by entering our competition and go in the draw for our grand prize of airfares, accommodation and tickets to an NBL Grand Final. Go to the Cannons homepage and register. It's that easy. Here is this week's question.
And you can catch up with any of the Cannons players on Wednesday nights out at Henry's Restaurant. But an even better place to catch up with them would be the basketball camps this week. They're taking place at Tuggeranong. That's Wednesday through till Friday. They're between 12 and 3. If you'd like to get along to any of those, get in touch with Basketball Canberra. Now, the Canberra Capitals have a bye this week. They won't be playing this weekend, but we do have the Capitals coach, Carrie Graff, with us. Good morning, Carrie. Great to have you with us.
Thanks, Phil. Good morning to you.
A weekend off, but it's not always that way, is it? I mean, you're still working hard.
Yeah, definitely. We actually we went early morning yesterday, and we've had a pretty heavy load at practice this week. So it's a good chance to refine some of your skills and do some things that you don't do in a week preparing for a game. So you can change up what you're doing a little.
And a key player missing from practice too.
Unfortunately, which certainly changes the face of our practice. I mean, Lauren Jackson, you know, her size and her talent make a big difference at practice in her games, and unfortunately, she's come down with a mump. So it's you know, not great to practice without her, but in a way sometimes it helps what we're doing as well.
Always something to test you, isn't there? I mean, particularly when someone like Lauren goes down with the mumps, it makes a big difference to the team. And at this stage, I mean, you've got Sydney next week up against the Panthers, and you don't know whether you'll have her or not.
Yeah, we really just have to wait to see how it pans out. Obviously, as an adult, mumps tend to affect you a little bit more than when you're a kid, and the early stages, there was a thought that it might have been bronchitis, but it's clearly the mumps, and we just really have to wait to see how she shapes up later in the week.
You're a very different team without Lauren Jackson too, aren't you?
We're tiny. We, you know, and even our 6-foot players, they're not big and bulky. You know, Lucille Hamilton and Gemma Sutherland, they're strong, but they're quite slender, and then we really become perimeter players. So without Lauren, we are just a middle of the road team as far as size goes.
Let's get on to you now. I mean, you've had a very busy week. Firstly, the Phoenix job. You heard from Phoenix this week, finally, that you won't be going over there. Bit of a disappointment.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it would be crazy to say that my ego wasn't a little dented and I didn't shed a tear, as you do when you don't achieve the things or you don't get things that you go after. But that's life in coaching and playing. It doesn't always pan out the way you would anticipate. And I guess it allows me to put all my eggs in one basket, and that is the Opals. You know, I was sort of sitting around with two potential options. One of those is gone now, and hopefully the other one will come through. So disappointed, but Cynthia Cooper will do a fantastic job. She's been a great player, doesn't have any coaching experience, but I'm sure they'll surround her with a solid staff. So I anticipate she'll get that system really cooking.
Speaking of the Opals job, you interviewed for that this week. How did it go?
Yeah, look, I mean, it's hard to say how those things go. You know, you walk out of there and think you did a good job, and you know, then you leave an interview panel to discuss how you went. So I was confident that I put myself in a solid position. You know, I think I was well prepared and presented well and answered the questions, you know, the way I had anticipated. And you know, the powers that be will make the decision. So it's really out of my hands now. I've done all I can. My record and my experience, I guess, is out there for them to decide on, as it is for the other candidates. So it's the waiting game continues.
I'm interested, you know, you go through an interview process, which I guess you have to, but it's not as if they don't know you, is it? I mean, you've been around the scene for a fair while.
Yeah, exactly. And you know the people on the panel. You know, it was, you know, they made it very relaxed, and it was quite laid back, and certainly it was still professional. But it was, you know, like you say, you've been around. The people that are interviewing are big in basketball. They've been around for years and have experience. So it's not like they're people you don't know. It was very relaxed and comfortable, and that certainly made the process a whole lot easier.
Now, the Capitals so far, just where you're at the moment, you happy with where you're at?
Yeah, I think we, you know, all the things we anticipated leading up to Christmas were, as we said, you know, we knew that it would be a bit of a hard slog for Lauren and Shelley and myself off the Olympics. We had new players coming in. Lucille Hamilton practiced twice before our first game. We had a few new players back in the fold, Kate Patterson and Kelly Abrams, who'd been previous Capitals that weren't part of our championship last year. And I think things are finally coming together for us. You know, post-Christmas, we had 3 of the best practices we'd had all year. You know, we had a solid weekend against Melbourne and the AIS last weekend. 2 wins, 2 tough games. And I think the next month will really shape our season for us.
Well, looking at where you are on the ladder right now, and you're down in 3rd place, but it's a bit misleading, isn't it? I mean, you play the Sydney, who are on top right now, next week, and that could change the whole situation. Yeah,
certainly. And if you look at the schedule, I think in the next 3 weeks, the top 4 teams all play each other. I think this week, Dandenong and Adelaide go head to head. We play Sydney the following week, and after that we play Adelaide. So I think the top 4 is going to get a little bit of a shake-up in the next few weeks, and hopefully when it settles, we'll be sitting much more closer to where we'd like to be.
It is looking like the top 4 will be the top 4, though, isn't it?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, I'd anticipate it would. I wouldn't write the AIS off right now. I think they really showed some great stuff against us, and I think if they could get a couple of wins over ourselves or Dandenong or Adelaide or Sydney, I think that could possibly push them in. But I think betting people would say the 4 is going to stay how it is right now.
Let's take a look at the NBL ladder too, and Perth are on top. In fact, they've won their last 10. Andrew Clark, they're looking very, very good. Perth on top. Victoria, Wollongong and Adelaide, they look like being a top 4. Townsville could come into it, but you want to make sure you get rid of them tonight.
No, that's right. We really got to get this win. I mean, Perth and Victoria are clear cut above probably the rest of the league at the moment. They're really running hot.
And the rest of them, Sydney, Melbourne, I mean, there's going to be a 7 into 6 there, it's starting to look like. Who's going to miss out?
Well, I must admit, we look at ourselves right there. I mean, with Sydney and Melbourne sitting on 7 wins, I mean, we're on 3 at the moment. If we can get rolling like we did last year, I mean, we're only 4 wins behind. You just never know. Sydney, Melbourne, it's a tough one. I mean, Melbourne are fairly inconsistent, but I think they might sneak in there ahead of Sydney.
I like your optimism. Good luck out there tonight up against Townsville. And Carrie Graff, thank you for coming in, and good luck with getting Lauren Jackson back on the court. We'll all be keeping a close eye on that one. And you're up against Sydney, what, a week's time?
A week's time, yeah, it'll be a great one. Thanks, Phil.
Okay, thanks for coming in. Thanks to all our guests this morning. Thank you for being with us again, and we leave you, as we always do, each day with our play of the day.
To the Hyatt to have us educated on how to treat people properly.
Two at a time?
2 at a time, if you don't mind. And then he stood up up and lied and said that he did not say such a thing at all when it was quite evident that he did. So you can imagine how we all felt. I'd like him to come into our understaffed and extremely overrun emergency department. At the moment it is chock-a-block. People are coming out of the scenes. We've had people waiting there. We had a fellow waiting there yesterday for 24 hours for a bed. Okay, this is a regular occurrence every single day. It has been a regular occurrence every day of this week, end of the last week, end of the week before, and it's going to continue on. Time and time, we've got people that have been waiting there since last night for beds now. We still have got at least 6 people in the department that haven't been bedded, yet we're still supposed to work. We've been asked to do double shifts. Every single shift there are people asked to do double shifts, and we just can't do it anymore. This is day 7 for me. I've been asked 4 times this week to do a double shift.
Shame.
Absolutely.
Ted Raymond is there with him now, and I've requested an urgent meeting with them. What he's told me to do is that I should abide by the provisions of the Nurses Enterprise Bargaining Agreement. Well, I believe I have. This is a genuine OH&S issue, and I've just got the feeling that we will be in the Industrial Relations Commission, but I've got no worries about that because we've certainly got enough evidence here about what is going on that is unsafe out there.
It's not just the wards up, which is the cancer ward. Now, we're working 1 short today. That if someone is sick, they're not that often replaced, and we have a 12:30
To this hospital.
That's actually a curse because the money comes from the ACT government and Michael Moore.
Not a problem. Bye. I'll just see. Yeah.
Need people to document in detail the incidents where short staff occurred, so that we've got those records to justify the stop work action that will occur. So we can use that.